Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about Saturn in major adverse aspect to Chiron in a natal horoscope. As most of you know, Chiron is associated with the wounded healer. It represents an area in our horoscope that we often accentuate or emphasize strongly with others, but we often don't take care of ourselves enough in this area. And I believe a lot of this is attributed to overcompensation, often due to the fact that we expend so much time and energy helping others in this area that we often neglect ourselves. Now, when I look at Chiron, I see it as far as its impact on a horoscope similar to a generational planet, and because mainly that Chiron is seen as an asteroid or a planetoid. It traverses a sign on average for about 4 to 5 years, and that's why I see its significance more by house placement as opposed to the sign it resides in. But at the same time, the sign that it is in may flavor the house placement a little bit. Now, the first thing I look at when somebody has these aspects, Chiron in major adverse aspect to Saturn in their natal chart, this could indicate this person has maybe experienced some emotional wounds connected with responsibility, maybe with discipline, maybe with authority figures. This person may have ways that they want to help others or heal others that may be conflict to what maybe the father or that, I guess you could say, that fatherly image of that person. If the person, does not have the father, do not have a biological father or adopted father, like, if you know what I'm saying, what have you. This is something where obviously when you have these negative aspects, it's adversarial. It shows that there is a conflict, and it can indicate that this person may have difficulty helping others with their own emotional wounds, dealing with them, because maybe they're dominated by and consumed by their own responsibilities, things associated with limitations and restrictions. And it doesn't mean this person can't reconcile or resolve emotional wounds, but it can make it very difficult. And it's possible this person might have something that they see as irreconcilable difference with perhaps with the father, perhaps with authority figure, perhaps wounds that were received because of maybe the relationship with him that they have had trouble maybe healing. And a lot of these aspects, we look at, and the house placements are obviously going to be of importance. Now, let's take somebody that has Chiron. Let's say they have Chiron in the 7th house, and they have Saturn in the 4th house. Now, making a square aspect. Now, if Saturn is in the 4th, it could indicate that this person may feel overburdened by responsibilities at home. Maybe they feel maybe there's some kind of restrictions or limitations that are associated with their home and family life. It could indicate in some cases that this person may be taking care of a sickly or debilitated parent. And we look at and a lot of times I believe it could be the mother, since the 4th house correlates more with that than the father. Now, this is and then we look at Chiron in the 7th. The person may have emotional wounds that are connected with partnerships, relationships, open adversaries, things that are of a legal nature. Now, perhaps this person in this example may have been dominated by responsibility at home, that maybe somehow the wounds in the relationships and partnerships that this person received can be tied into that. It could be that the home life has dominated the person that so much that maybe it's deprived them of having that kind of relationship that he or she would like. Now, take another example. Let's take let's say we take Chiron in the 3rd, making an opposition to Saturn in the ninth house. Now, Saturn in the ninth house could indicate maybe a person that's felt a lot of responsibility in connection, and even sometimes some restriction or limitations in connection with their I guess you could say their higher education, things that are connected with long journeys, traveling, perhaps even the in-laws. There might be some some restriction or some limitation going on as far as that the ninth house goes, that it might be causing emotional wounds to some degree, with maybe you could say in their general communications in their own life. And the third house is also associated with one's, I guess you could say, their general neighborhood, their short journeys. This person could be so somebody has Saturn in the ninth opposing Chiron in the third. It could indicate that with Saturn in the ninth, it might show that maybe this person has had to do, perhaps put a lot of responsibility into things connected with higher education, that maybe that they haven't been able, it might have dominated his or her time, where it's caused some kind of emotional wounds connected maybe with brothers and sisters, maybe not being near them enough, or perhaps even problems with people, maybe even friends that they knew in their own neighborhood. So basically, they can often go hand in hand when you have a negative aspect that's involving Chiron and Saturn. It's important to look at the house placements. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for Chiron in major adverse aspect to Saturn in a natal horoscope. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about Chiron conjunct Uranus in a natal chart. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because a person astrologically is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.